When you drop your ego and you stop living in that part of your ego, your life will become so much more free, like mine did. And I wanted to give you a little, little blurb on that. So let me give you an example of that. So, a lot of us grew up with a bad childhood. I don't know hardly anybody who didn't have something in their life. I didn't say it's traumatic all the time, but there was stuff, right? And it does trigger something. So we know where it comes from. But if you're living in your ego, you're expecting people to do as you do. If you are, can't they see it from my perspective? And here's a good indicator. So what if you don't like somebody? Why should they care? Why should they care if you don't like them? So what? You're one person of a billion people. And this can include your family and your adult children. And it does include that. Why should people care? So what? Because you don't like everybody anyway. And then your ego gets bruised if somebody doesn't like you. So what? Not everybody's going to vibe with you. Not everybody's going to vibe with me. Oh, before we go further, I got some filler. So if you're like, what happened? It's just a little bruise. It'll go away. I know I look like Cindy Crawford. Not all the way, just that little mole thing. And it's fine. It doesn't hurt. It goes away. It comes with the territory. Anyway, I also have the Ego Death series. So you may want to watch that because it's going to go deeper for you to understand your ego, right? I don't want to go through the intricacies of that here. I just want to give you an indicator of how it really helped me come out of really dark places. Right. And, I went through my ego of going, well, why did mom die? If mom died, my life would be better. I don't know that to be fact. It'd have been different. It doesn't mean it'd been better. Why did my dad molest me? I don't know. Why did people not do anything? I don't know. But if I worried about people owing me something because I had a bad childhood, that's my ego. Right. And it's way lack of emotional maturity. Seriously, it's emotional immaturity, right? When you're thinking that everybody has to live as you do. And the reality is people have every right on this planet to respond, act, say things as they do. That's right. Just like you have every right. Did I say it's right? No. Do I think that there's a lot of things that could change in this world to make it a better place? Absolutely. Is it something I'm going to take on and bear on the back of my back and let it ruin my day? I am not. Because my ego says I am in control of myself. I am here now. You can't live as a victim to circumstances. That's also living in your ego. Because when you live as a victim to circumstances, you're blaming. You're saying, listen, we know why you got here, but you're here now. What are you going to do with that knowledge now? And really ask yourself, why does it matter if you don't like somebody? Why should they care that you don't like them? Ask yourself that. And don't say just because. Why? Why is your approval of them? Why is your like of them that important? You're one person of billions of people. Why? It's a good indicator of where you are in your ego, right? Because here's the reality. You could do amazing things in this world. I don't care who you are. They're going to talk about you. I don't care who you are. There's going to be people who don't like you. There's going to be people who do not like me. Do not breathe oxygen into that. People have every right to say what they do, and you have every right to say you do not have access to me. But you have to be confident in understanding that the way you're seeing yourself has to be through your lens, not theirs. Stop worrying about if someone doesn't like you. So what? So what? You're not for those people. You've got to realize that, and that was the one thing that, oh my God, it helped me so much because I was so defensive. I'm writing about this in my book. Oh my God, so defensive. I would get into fights. I had to be right. Oh my Lord. And don't get ego confused with confidence, because confidence and having boundaries is like, no, I'm not doing it. And you go, well, oh my God, you're so egotistic. No, that's because you're unhealed. Ego says you're better than somebody. Ego says you're less than somebody. Confidence says I matter and I'm irrelevant in the same token. I am important to me, and I will serve and make sure other people are, have access to positivity and things like that. But I'm not going to waste energy in trying to please everybody, because it's never going to happen. You could literally solve world peace. You could put millions of dollars in people's bank accounts today. You could solve all of their problems, and somebody would still have a problem with it. Somebody would be like, well, you should have done it earlier. Why didn't you do it sooner? You can't please all those people. But your ego says, I have to be right. Your ego, I used to have to get the last word, and I would go down swinging until my last word. Yeah. Did you hear me? Do you hear me? Yeah. Your ego says you need that last word. Now, I just block you like a profession. I am not engaging. You can come sideways out your mouth all you want. I'm blocking it. I'm not engaging in it. Because remember, when you're in your ego, you want response. You really do. I'm not saying you love confrontation, but you want a response. You want somebody to say, oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's what you want. But you're not always going to get it. And when you can accept, radical acceptance is the key to so much in life, that it is what it is. Like, until you can adopt that it is what it is, you're always going to be going, well, I don't understand why. And you're never going to understand their why. Because anytime somebody, let's say first of all, they don't owe you their why, but let's say somebody did give you their why and you don't like it. Now you're going to dissect their why like you have a right to their reasoning, and you don't. If someone doesn't want to do something, that's plenty enough. Your ego says, well, that's not a good reason. Your ego goes, it's okay that you can't come to the barbecue because little Johnny has soccer. I approve that because that makes sense. Your child has soccer. There's a valid reason. I'm now saying there's a valid reason that you can't come. But if you literally just said, I don't want to come, or I'm just not coming, and to me, right, an ego, to me, I don't like that. I'm like, now I'm going to get offended. Well, okay, my God. It's a barbecue. You could at least make an appearance. I mean, damn. Like, what is wrong? Like, you can watch Netflix later. Like, now suddenly, and trust me, I did that. And don't act like sometimes you don't do that, because you do. You have to be okay with accepting where you are in your ego. Thank God. Now you could say, I'm not coming. I don't need to know your why. I don't not care. I do not have to validate it. Because whether it's soccer or whether you don't want to come, the reality is you're not showing up. That's all I need to know. Are you coming or you're not coming? No. Okay, cool. I don't have to worry about food that day. But I'm solid within myself. Your ego will creep up when you have unhealed trauma and when you're insecure and when you are attaching your worth to someone else's viewpoint. Remember, you should not be living your life through the lens of other human beings, because you're always going to try to live for mom, live for the husband, live for the adult children, live for society. Oh my God, that's exhausting. And until you can accept that, it is going to be a very lonely, isolated place. I like it. Isolated place. You are going to be angry at everyone and everything on the planet, because you're going to get mad at social situations. Listen, if you can do something about it and you can make a bill for it and you can stand up and you can make a difference, by all means do. But to sit there and beat yourself up and go, I don't understand why people do this. Well, I'm sure they don't understand why you do a lot of things. So really ask yourself, where are you in your ego? And watch that ego death series. Watch the inner child series, because it's going to give you indicators. Because when you're living in that id part of your ego, right, it's like, and again, it's because a lot of times you weren't heard in the past. People gaslit you. People were manipulative. People were abusive. So we know why you got here. I know why you got here. But you're here now. And if you keep living in that and thinking that everybody has to see it from your perspective, you're going to remain stuck. Everybody can do whatever it is that they want to do, but not everybody has to have access to you. And honestly, everybody doesn't have to give you access to them. And ego will say, well, these are my children. I gave birth to them. Of course they have to come to my house. No, they don't. As adult kids, they can do whatever they want to do. Your ego gets bruised because you think, I put my life on hold. That's your first problem. You don't put your life on hold for children, family, or anything else. Don't put your life on hold. You have to find that balance. You can't lose who you are, because now you're doing things with this expectation that somehow along the line, people owe you something, and they don't. Your best friend doesn't owe you anything. Your mom doesn't owe you anything. If it isn't working for you, if you don't like that mom is always in you and just negative and all that stuff, why are you engaging? Don't judge her. She's in a different part of her life. None of us are getting out of here alive. Nobody's leaving this planet alive. And everybody's going to the same destination with different shoes on. Don't judge the shoes in which they're wearing. If it doesn't serve you, don't walk on the same side of the track as them. That's all. And that's how you can start to evaluate where it is. And I can promise you, oh my God, I promise you, it was so freeing for me. And it's not overnight. It is not overnight. You're not just going to wake up and be like, aha, I got it. No, it takes inner work. You've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be vulnerable with yourself. You have to you have to accept that it is your responsibility for your healing. I know how you got here. That's okay. It's not your fault that that's how you got here, but you're here now. And when you can take ownership and accountability and you're not expecting this from this person and the superiority and they need to live their life this way and this person does this and can't they see it's wrong? And at the end of the day, guess what? If you don't like somebody, they really honestly don't have to care.